Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. I am Dr. Marianne Pinkston, and bringing you today some great information. I think tailored maybe toward you women out there, and we can't exclude men, but I am bringing Tosca Reno, who is a New York Times best-selling author. If you remember the Eat Clean Revolution, which I was knee deep in back in my weight loss journey. And she was such a wonderful example of a brilliant and healthy, mind-centered woman. And I have followed her for a very long time. So I'm happy to have you on, Tosca. Thank you so much for being on with me.
Oh, it's my great pleasure. We had such a good time the last time. Let's do it again.
Absolutely, we did. And so, yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that you were on before. So I'll redirect everybody to go back and listen to that again. But I think, you and I have had a lot in common. We have been, right? We have been down a road where we've had to discover a lot about ourselves and taking care of ourselves, self-care. I think you mentioned before we got started, and we'd like to focus on that a little bit. And so I'd love to hear your story, though, and direct us into our topic.
In the retelling of my story, I would say 10 years ago, even 20 years ago, when this whole revolution started, I would have told it a different way. But today, through the lens of this evolved self, I will tell you the story as I now see it. And that is that I had been looking for something in my life that hadn't been fulfilled. I needed to leave my very first marriage, which gave me my 3 beautiful daughters, but I was not fulfilled. The father was an abusive man. And I began to look for a way to fulfill myself. I didn't know how to do that, but I had the curiosity. And let's face it, there's an edge of recklessness and curiosity that always comes with when we're building something new, looking for something new, looking outside of the norm, and embracing this notion of getting uncomfortable. And boy, did I get uncomfortable. As a grade 1 teacher, I was teaching a young student whose father would come to school, and he was very buff. And I noticed that, and I was feeling my oats a little bit and had to lose a lot of weight. I, at one time, weighed 204 pounds. And so we were chatting one time, and he said, what do you do to keep fit? And I said, I run. Like, oh yeah, wow, that was really me being fit, right? And he challenged me so hard. He said, I want to introduce you to something new, something that's going to make you, it's going to shake you up. It's going to change who you are as a person and how you think about fitness. And he introduced me to bodybuilding. And then he said, even more shocking, I'm going to take on training you. And in a year's time, I want you to be on stage competing in Las Vegas at the Flamingo Hotel with other bodybuilders.
Right.
Okay. So embracing the unknown. Marianne, Robert took on coaching. This was Robert Kennedy. He was the iconic founder of Muscle Mag, Clean Eating Oxygen magazine, and was instrumental in helping Arnold come to the United States. So many iconic men and personalities, Rachel McClish, Corey Everson, all of these men and women. And he says to me, I'll train you. I hate training people, but I'll train you. Through him, I learned how deeply ignorant I was of my own body. One day he asked me, show me a tricep, flex it for me in the mirror. I didn't know what a tricep was, Marianne. I had to learn about my own outer body, my muscles, and my inner self through this man who wasn't even a woman. He was a man and teaching me about, anyway. So I needed that. I needed, a poke with a sharp stick. And I was hungry for it. And human beings are hardwired to perform. If you raise the bar on them, they will jump. And I don't mean jump how high. I mean, people want to perform. It's called performance necessity. And you want to strive. And in the gym, what I discovered was all the edges of myself that had disappeared or that I had stuffed down and not paid attention to. And I learned that I could really take it. I could take a lot of pain. I could take lifting, and I did very well with it. But it's also through that journey where I discovered my voice, through competing, through the photography, through Oxygen covers, through writing in Oxygen magazine. My career was launched because I touched a nerve for women, particularly women of the demographic I believe that you so beautifully encompass, anybody 35 and older, who finally had this notion of permission to change, permission to care, permission not to retire with curlers and slippers.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Well
and
said.
the journey just skyrocketed from there. It was a tremendous, tremendous soul journey.
And what a ride.
Yes, it was.
So I know that with anything really, really up, at some point, something really, really comes down.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was I can call it now the dark chapter.
Yeah.
I couldn't even put the sentence together 10 years ago, but now I can say, with the ripening of time, the softening of the edges, that the dark chapter of my life was given to me so that I could elevate myself to the next level. But it began in 2011 with the death of my stepson, Robert's son, who I had cared for. He was a brain injured child at the age of 11. And then literally a year later, because Braden passed in March, Bob passed in April. It was a year later that the love of my life, Robert, my second husband, my coach, my trainer, my mentor, passed away suddenly from lung cancer. A year after that, the publishing house and the agency that had really brought my career to the foreground and the magazines had to be bankrupted. Yeah. So suddenly I was without means and without identity, because all that I had connected myself with was broken. And not only that, I discovered that any of the money that I had made with the sale of my books, and today the sale number is looking like about 4 million in copies in several different languages, not a dollar was left. Not a dollar. So I was forced to really, with a scalpel, cut away all of that past life and come back to center, come back to maybe even like ashes, burning away the dross, burning away everything that was, and now revealing a new identity, a new self, someone who's more relevant today as not an oxygen cover girl, not a fitness model, I can still write. That's my joy and my passion, teaching, transforming others. But yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Yes. That is, I have a very similar story, and I love the way you're describing this whole progression, this process that you've been through, because it is, you get on top of the world. I've been there too. And, when it suddenly crashes, that there's a lot of kind of my process was, why would God do this to me? Why would I'm a good person? I've worked hard. Why would this happen to me? And at some point I thought, you know what? God wouldn't do this to somebody who's good and generous and kind in their heart and trying to give to the world. So there is no God. And I got to that point, and ultimately I, crossed through that and found, as you said, kind of the rebuilding of myself and purpose on the other side. And I can get through anything as long as I know why is this happening? And I couldn't find that for the longest time. But at this point, I have found that the why was just to create a better backbone. And as you exactly said, to raise me to a higher level.
Yes.
And I want people to understand, and we focus on women a lot, because this happens to women getting out of bad marriages, and you and I, we've done great things, and there's so many people out there who may not have been famous for any reason, or reached a multimillionaire status or anything like that are just living everyday lives, but are going through exactly the same thing.
Yes,
exactly, and it's that dark chapter.
Yeah.
It's what you do with that and understand about it, and to get through to the other side. And I think you're right. I think it's just to elevate yourself and find something better. I think we're very afraid to leave a comfortable spot. You mentioned that, leave a comfort of something and go to that next step. So I'm telling you, sometimes God, the universe, again, however you see it, will push you into that. And boy, did it ever. Did it to you, did it to me. And I know it does it to so many.
So many. Yeah, I feel post-COVID that many people are still struggling. They're still not quite sure of themselves, especially now that we're seeing a resurgence of the variant.
Yeah.
And I do feel that what I notice is confusion and uncertainty and a lack of trust.
Yeah.
So that those people are looking for guides and mentors with whom they can grow, with whom they can reveal themselves, and then grow into the newer understanding of what's happening around them and how to show up in a different way. Marianne, tell me if you agree. In the day when I was even on oxygen covers and so on, we were all looking for our skinny black jeans, our little black dress, our, skinny bitch alcoholic drinks and so on. And everybody was looking to be tiny.
Yes.
Today, that doesn't fly. Today, people are looking for the foundation. They're looking to build themselves so that they don't get knocked over when the next pandemic comes or the next blow, because life will give you blows.
Absolutely.
And I feel what's being called for now is for us, you and I, to help others build that foundation. Mm-hmm. And from trusted people who will not just throw the next trend at them and the next calorie counting and the next 100, bag of whatever cookies. No, what is wanted is solid information that will anchor the knowing for life.
I agree. Yes. You asked if I would agree. I would. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The quick fix era may be finally over, right? I would hope. And
yeah.
I think it comes with maturity and time. I think that it took a lifetime to do.
Yes.
Sometimes people are afraid of the whole start over factor.
Yeah.
How many times did I start over just in the weight loss realm? How many times did I start over? Right. Mm-hmm. And when I finally understood it, though, that it was something within me to be centered and in a mindset. It wasn't about a pill, a shot. I had an example today. I had a lady who wanted to join my weight loss program that I do, and I do it very differently based on this. And she's like, well, I want to guarantee that the shot is going to help me lose weight. And I said, sweetheart, there is no guarantee.
There's no shot.
Right? You have to get to that point where you understand that. And once you understand that, and it's all within you and that consistency and persistence, then you're ready. And so you let me know when you get there, or I'll help you get there if you'd like. But yeah, it's just that we're searching, I think, for that kind of ability to overcome things without having to, when you look at the internet and people are saying, oh, this diet is so wonderful, or, this shot, this whatever, our program is so wonderful. You have to look at that with the skepticism is, what am I going to walk away with? What am I really going to grow from here? Right.
Well, look what's happening with Ozempic, right? Already we're seeing lots of issues, people becoming ill at the price of so much. The cost is too dear. And I don't mean dollars and cents. So, So looking for this trustworthy advice, looking for the structure within which to conduct your transformation, being guided or led by someone that you can trust. That's the important piece there.
Absolutely. And I know you're doing something new. So we've got a couple of minutes before we hit a break. So tell me what you are doing, because I know that is your focus and what you're trying to bring to, to your audience. And I've followed you for such a long time. So tell us what you're trying to do.
But so what I noticed is of course, we all pivoted during COVID, and I was conducting group coaching programs with cohorts of 30 women multiple times a year. And all these people were coming through the program and then saying when it was finished, oh my gosh, I never want it to end. And I need some place to continue my journey, but I don't need to go back through that basic information. I want the next level. And so my Clean Life Mastery program is a mastermind concept where all these women who have gone through the program or some aspect of a transformation are participating in this beautiful new experience. I have a curriculum laid out. It's for a year. We meet twice a month. And we work together in a collaborative spirit of transformation, vulnerability, and putting light into ourselves, because we want to be drawn to light. We want to be light. And that means shedding light on the darkness within ourselves, filling ourselves with knowledge, filling ourselves with the new elevated concepts of wellness today, not the old dated concepts. I'm really excited about it. I created something called Hope Salad, and people are losing their marbles.
That's great. Oh my gosh, there you go. Your next brilliant idea is going to grow and blossom. I pray that for you. That's wonderful. So
thank you.
And it's so, and you've done so much. I know, I showed you a picture the other day of not my closet, but my cabinet full of my recipe books. And there were about 4 different books right there, Tosca Reno and the clean eating. And so You still believe in this, don't you? I mean, this is still something that
I do. I do.
Send your clients through.
So, well, I do. And that's a brand new offering as well on my website, toscareno.com, is the Eat Clean Foundations course. Why I believe in this so much is because I came from that abusive marriage, overweight, 204 pounds, depressed. I wasn't diagnosed as diabetic, but I was definitely pre-diabetic. And I healed myself through clean nutrition. And I wrote the books based on that experience. So to me, that is an irrefutable law of wellness. When you eat clean, you become well. When you exercise, you sprinkle all your bodily tissues with the molecules of hope. The two go together to make the greatest of self possible. And then we put the icing on top with this beautiful experience of the emotional self-care. So yes, those are principles that I adhere to.
And I love that.
For life.
It's timeless. It's something that you did so long ago. Not so long ago. Don't let me say that.
Yeah, well, kind of 20 years ago.
Long enough ago.
Yeah.
And it transformed me. And this was 13 years ago. I mean, my progress has been over 13, 14 years now. And it was back then that I read that and it moved me. And so I love that it's timeless, that you can still, when many things now are, fads that have come and gone. Well, this fad that didn't come and go, it may have quieted for a little while, but it's back.
Yeah.
And
trustworthy. Exactly. Yeah.
And I'd love to spend some time on that here in a few minutes. We've got a short break coming up. So where can people find you?
Thank you for asking. It's very easy, toscareno.com, like Reno, Nevada, but toscareno.com, or on Instagram, Tosca Reno. You'll find me everywhere.
Absolutely. And I will have these links on there. And it's TOSCA.
Correct.
And so somebody may want to put an A in there somewhere where it doesn't belong. So yeah, but I will have all of this.
Thank you.
It's absolutely linked. And so you can go to drpbetterlife.com and find our old show that we did. And I got to quit using that word. Our previous show that we did. Our
previous show.
Exactly right. Our previous show. And then more information on Tosca. And we will definitely come back and talk a little bit more about this because this is one of the best conversations I've had in a long time. Thank you so much. We will be right back.
Depression, anxiety, low energy, weakness, these are just some symptoms of low B12 levels. And the absorbable B12 folate supplement that's helping people declare victory over depression symptoms is De Novo Plus B12 by Magna Pharmaceuticals. Patients with symptoms of depression often exhibit low levels of folate and vitamin B12. The human body needs sufficient folate intake to produce the essential neurotransmitters serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. These neurotransmitters alleviate feelings of sadness, anxiety, and gloom. What makes De Novo Plus B12 so successful? De Novo Plus B12 contains readily absorbable folate and B12. That means it's more successful at correcting the root cause of your deficiency, not just the symptoms. Whether you are suffering with low energy, depression, fatigue, or anxiety, you owe it to yourself to learn more at magnaweb.com. That's magnaweb.com. Please let us know at checkout that you heard about De Novo Plus B12 on The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dr. Marianne Pinkston. I'm with Tosca Reno. We've had a fantastic discussion about becoming more self-centered and looking for the next level for yourself. And you touched on something before the break there that hit a nerve with me too. And that is finding yourself through a dark time. And I know you had an abusive relationship. I had some, similar aspects of that as well. And so I think what I found, and I mentioned to you that I lost my 180 pounds when I was going through the horrible divorce, the bankruptcy, all of those issues. And that's when I lost the weight. But I think all of that breaking from the marriage, breaking from the weight and all was me, launching to that next level. Now, I did not know what hard road I had ahead of me. And again, it was wonderful. It molded me into the person I am now. It was necessary. But I know you had something similar. How did you do? How did you make that break and go?
Yes, I had something similar. Leaving that first marriage was incredibly traumatic, having to start over. And I agree with you. I think I was not able to cut away those excess pounds, if you will, or lose those extra pounds because they were my safety blanket. And it wasn't until I left that I was able to cut away what I call emotional weight. Because I put it there. I put it there to protect myself. so that I wouldn't get injured, harmed, all those things. And I think there is a tremendous aspect of the emotional weight component in women. We store it in stuck hips. We store it in stubborn fat around the middle. We store it in hunched shoulders. And this is the newness of the understanding of what happened to myself, so I could be more present for others who have gone through these similar experiences. It didn't make me less. Yes, I lost the weight. It didn't make me less. It strengthened me through, I guess, cutting away or melting away those pounds, through breaking away the cage that I put around myself, because I imprisoned myself in that. Yeah. I was able to tap into what was really already there. Maybe I was always a writer. I just didn't know it. And so being able to melt that all away and step into the full expression of yourself, that was beautiful. And through any other difficult times, these irrefutable laws of eating clean and exercise, and now emotional self-care, are the ones that have protected me or helped me find the anchor points for every single day that I'm alive, for every single thing that I do. And so expressing that, coming out of the wounds of divorce, the trauma of death, bankruptcy, loss of loved ones, these things have remained steadfast, solid, and true for me.
True. I'm so glad you bring that up, because I tell people from now, how did you get through it? How did you lose weight going through all of that stress? And my way of coping used to be eating to cope with the stress and damaging myself, self-sabotaging, all those factors. That used to be how I somehow nurtured myself and got myself through it. And I was able to flip the switch, and just now my stress relief is not eating. They're eating poorly. It's eating better. It's picking something good for myself. It's, when I feed myself now, I know I'm putting nutrition in to build a better me, or exercise to get rid of that stress and to, focus and self-center. I solve a lot of problems on that treadmill or, lifting.
Yeah.
So I flipped it. It was a decision. It was a decision. I had to be ready for that decision. It wasn't easy to do. I don't think it was easy, but that's what, and exactly as you say, flipping the switch to a self-care mode rather than a sabotaging, self-destruction.
Right. Because when you think about it, in the old way that we used to diet, it was always subtraction. Right? Or punishment, like I need to count calories. I need to eat less. I need to be less. I need to weigh less. I need to be smaller. I need to run more. And those things to me always felt like they were just fostering the negativity and never really getting you to a healthy place. Now, if we can add in the self-love, add in the nourishment, that doesn't sound like starvation to me. Right. Add in the beauty, the permission, the ability to exercise. My stepson, who passed away, was oxygen deprived from the result of a car accident at the age of 11. He couldn't move his own body. I move my body. I can move my body. I'm doing it for him. I'm doing it for everybody who can't, because I can, and therefore I must.
That is beyond absolutely beautiful, which you are. You are such a genuine wonderful soul. I've been so honored to touch base with you in any fashion. You've been a part of my existence for a very long time and never knew it. I know you're like that for so many.
Kindred sisters.
Absolutely. We all are. And all of you out there listening that we don't know, who are going through all of this, you are sisters too. This is something you can do, you can experience, and it takes some work. You just got to reach out and find what feeds you and your soul. It's different for everybody, but you've got to find that, and it is up to you to do so. It is a change in mindset, and it is up to you. Quit looking for some other tool or something to do it for you.
Right.
It's all in you, and look for those resources. So in the last 2 minutes that we have, give me some resources where people can find you.
Thank you, Marianne. Well, I think your podcast is so beautiful, and your programming and coaching to provide the conversations for others to make change. You will find my conversations at toscareno.com. That would be my website where I have all my offerings. And then also you can find me on Instagram under Tosca Reno, and you can find me on Facebook under Tosca Reno. There's a beautiful Clean Living Facebook community. I invite you to participate there, and you will be loved. You will be served, and you will be loved.
That is true. And that's where I reconnected with you, as Facebook. I found you there.
Yeah.
I was so glad to see you resurge. And oh my gosh, it's been beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And on our previous show and other shows of mine on drpbetterlife.com, I will have some links and information so that you can find her easily and provide all that for everybody. So we've got about a minute and a half. Any closing thoughts you want to deliver?
I want to reach out to anybody here listening who is in that moment of trauma, of sadness, of spiral, where you feel that there is absolutely just nothing to live for and no point. Here's my comment to you. There's a Buddhist philosophy that says if you are out of hope, your task is to create it. And how do you create hope? You create hope by moving your body. And why does that create hope? Because we create as we exercise, even just walking in nature. Your muscles are sprinkled with dopamine and serotonin. Those are positive neurotransmitters. And we now call these the molecules of hope. Yes. So take yourself outside, go for a walk, put your phone away and just be, but move your body so that hope can sprinkle into your soul.
And there you go. Well said. I appreciate that. That's a lovely spot to end on. I appreciate you so much coming on today. Thank you. And best to you. And we will make sure everybody can find you.
Thank you so much. I'm so blessed to be invited to share this time with you and your audience. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great week.